In this video, we're going to be using Stirling Spice and the Stirling stainless razor, this time with the standard plate. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, welcome back for another video. I'm your IAMCDB. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And as mentioned before, today we're going to be using Stirling Spice, this is based off the Shulton Old Spice scent. It is a really nice version of that, I think. Oh, really nice. Strength on this one is medium, the far end of medium, close to high, I would say. You can really get it right off the puck for me. And you know, Stirling has great soaps at great prices. It comes to you for $13.60 for 5.8 ounces. And on the cost chart, they're exceptional, $2.34 per ounce. Again, the scent on this is like Old Spice. It's based on the Old Spice fragrance by Shulton. The ingredients will show you right there. Stirling is just a great no-nonsense soap. It's not finicky. You don't have to finesse it to lather it. Very, very good stuff. And it's very popular for a reason, in my opinion. Also today, we're going to be using the Stirling stainless steel razor once again. This time, we're going to be using the standard plate. The first time we used it, we used the hyper aggressive plate. We'll pop that up in one of the corners there for you and link it below to watch later. But this one is the standard plate, which is still supposed to be fairly efficient. So we'll give this a go today. This is made of 316 stainless steel. If you buy this razor with the just one plate, it is $159. If you buy it with both plates, it's $179. And it comes very well packaged, as I showed you in my other video. It comes in a box, and then it comes with a case, a really nice leather case, and inside is your plates, depending on, you know, if you get one or two, some blades, really nice. And the quality of this case is quite good. The packaging on this for its cost is as good as any razor out there, probably better than most. Really high quality case, great zipper, no strings or threads or anything. I just love that packaging and the care that they've put into this razor. Let's set that aside and let's get going today. I'm gonna start out by misting. We have our standard 24 hours of growth that I hope you can see there. And this is just plain water. And I wanna mention, I link the products I use, the ones that are available below. I get questions all the time or comments, where do I get this? Look below in the description and the items will be there. The brush for today is the Lancaster RazorWorks brush, and we have already lathered up our Stirling Spice in the Captain's Choice bowl, and we hope to get an excellent shave today. And really that's dependent on us, because we know the equipment today is good. We know we have a nice, efficient razor. Now, I haven't used this blade yet, so I'm assuming it's nice and efficient. We shall see. The blade is Gillette Platinum, which came with the razor. I like to use a razor the first couple of times with the plates that, or excuse me, the blades that come with it. And, you know, just because in my opinion, they wouldn't package blades with razors if they didn't think it was a good fit and a good match. And so the first shave with the hyper aggressive plate was a good match. I did have to be careful with that razor. That is an aggressive razor. The hyper aggressive plate is that. It's one of the most aggressive safety razors that I've ever used, if not maybe the most aggressive. And people ask about the R41. It's way more efficient than the R41. Way more efficient than the Carve with the most efficient plate offerings. It is a very efficient razor with that hyper aggressive plate. But today we'll find out how efficient it is with the standard offering. And according to Rod of Stirling, it is still efficient even on the standard plate. And also he suggests you sort of ride the cap a little bit. And I'll show you what I mean by that when we get shaving. By riding the cap, let me dry off my hands first, because we don't want wet hands when wielding any sort of razor. When riding the cap, it means keeping the angle more towards the cap and less like so. So a little bit more like that and not so much like that. And if you ride the cap a little bit, it will feel a little bit smoother. And that is the case with some razors, and Rod recommends this, so we'll try that. Now, as I go down, I tend to curve it out a little bit. But ideally, you'd continue to hold that effective, you know, cutting angle as well as you can. But it's tough to do sometimes. So it's not going to hurt if you, most likely if you let that angle slip a little bit. But definitely with the standard plate, you get some blade feel, but definitely not as much as the hyper aggressive plate. And that's what you would expect, right? Because this is just the standard plate. Still get some blade feel. This doesn't feel to me menacing. I think the hyper aggressive plate for some people is going to feel very menacing. It felt more blade feely to me than the 2011 R41 did. Wish I'd never gotten rid of that one now because they don't come around very often. But with the standard plate here, I'd say it is certainly not tame. This is still an efficient plate, but it doesn't feel nearly as blade feely as the hyper plate. I can't remember what the plate was called now. Hyper aggressive, I can't recall. But anyway, you can tell this one is definitely toned down, and that's going to be good for some people because maybe they don't want that hyper aggressive feel. This one, again, I would still call it efficient. I think Rod is right to call it efficient, but it's not menacingly so. Now, keep in mind, what I consider to be menacing might be a little different, because I think once you start using open blades a lot, and I have for the past year, I've used them quite a bit, safety razors just won't feel quite as menacing, regardless of how efficient they are. That's just me. Your experience may vary, but I find that I sort of have a preference for more blade feel. So what I consider not to be menacing might be menacing to you. So, keep that in mind. I kind of shave with a little bit of everything, and there are a few things that, in the safety razor realm, there are very few razors that I'm gonna worry a lot about in terms of being too aggressive for me. But a lot of people aren't in that boat. And I found that has changed over the years. So you might start out, if you're new, and prefer mild or maybe medium. A couple of years from now, you might find that you want a lot more efficiency because things do change over time. So keep that in mind. But I always like to say my chart or my feel in terms of what is efficient, I might have more tolerance for more blade feel than you might, because that's sort of my preference. So when I'm saying this isn't menacing, it doesn't mean it won't be menacing for you. I can only speak for me. And I say for me all the time, just like I'm gonna say right now. For me, this soap punches well above its weight. This and Shannon's, in terms of value, are almost unbeatable. They deliver great lather every single time. They're not finicky. You don't have to finesse them. You don't have to bring a chemistry set or measuring tools into the restroom to make lather. You don't really have to worry too much about getting too much water or not enough. It can handle a variety of conditions, a variety of levels of water, and that's why I like soaps like this. And it's priced very well, as you know, and so that's awesome. So again, this razor, 316 stainless, made in the United States, designed by Rod of Stirling, and he's basically made it to his specifications. And the reason he made this razor the way he made it is because sometimes he just does a two-pass shave, and he does it, rather quickly. And so he's developed a razor that works well in that sort of respect for him. But I find I use the hyper aggressive plate, 3 passes, no problem. I did slow down a little bit. It's definitely a razor that when you're using it, you're just like, okay, I need to respect this razor. And it's rare that I come across a safety razor these days where I feel I have to slow down a little bit, but with that other plate, you definitely have to make sure you're respecting that razor. For me, if you've ever tried the Yaki Night Helmet, which is very aggressive, and the Yaki Aggressive Slant, which is very aggressive, the hyper aggressive version of this is along those lines, if not more. The blade gap on that is, I don't know what it measures, but it's a lot. So just beware. It's not for the faint of heart. This one still is rather efficient as well. So I would still consider this one in the, this is well above medium. This is probably what I would consider on the aggressive side of things, even with this plate. However, it's not near, I would say it's much tamer than the hyper aggressive plate, but still efficient. So don't think you're going to pick this one up with the regular standard head and it's going to be mild. It is not. That's very nice. Really nice and enjoyable shave with Stirling. I mean, you can't beat that. Or at least I find that I own so many of these soaps because it's just, it's good stuff. It's not finicky. You can see it holds its hydration there. Very slick. And if you're able to get the best out of this soap in terms of getting hydration in it, it will be slick as any soap on the market if you are able to get the best out of it. Now, I don't think it's particularly hard to get the best out of this soap as it is with some other artisanal offerings. There's some artisanal offerings that are very finicky about the amount of water that you add and when you add it. And so in other words, if you add too much in the beginning, the soap kind of just disappears on you. Stirling is not like that. It will hold a lot of water. As you can see there's a lot of hydration. See the way that's just sort of hanging there? There's a lot of hydration in that. It will hold it and it will do it easily. And at some point I'll do a tutorial with well, actually I don't have to. I already have a lather tutorial using Shannon's, and I do the exact same thing with Stirling. And it will handle it and make a beautiful lather quite easily. And as you can see there, that is good, well-hydrated stuff. And it smells great too. This is, again, Old Spice. It's almost strongly scented. It's definitely at that medium level. And I'm just trying to smooth this out just a little bit here. But I can tell you right now, that is some slick stuff. And the best part, it comes easily. You don't have to finesse it. And that, I think, is the virtue of Stirling. And that, I think, is why Stirling has not reformulated. Because this soap works in a wide variety of conditions. It works easily. People don't have trouble with it. Rarely will you see posts where people are struggling to lather. And it does everything from the perspective of my shave that it needs to do. And so it would be, so if you ask me, you can pick 5 artisanal soap offerings, bases. Stirling would be one of them. Shannon's would be one of them. So I'm going to give you 2 right there. So that lets you know the way I feel about it. And these days, I really appreciate a soap that just is a no frills, do what it needs to do, smells great, and priced well soap. I'm less enthusiastic about the soaps that are supposed to contain 1 million skin food ingredients, and then if you add a little too much water, they just disappear on you. I just don't, that's just not for me. It may be for you if it's in your use case and you need all that extra stuff. That is just fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying from my perspective, soaps like this are where it's at. That's why I own so many of these. And honestly, I could use Stirling products day after day after day, and I wouldn't be missing anything. But for the sake of variety and the fact that I do like other brands, I use other things too. But if this were the only brand that I owned, it wouldn't be a problem. Quality-wise, and they have a large catalog of scents. And so I could find enough to, keep me busy for a good long time. Because believe me, I could go easily a month without using anything else and never repeat with Stirling. And their aftershave splashes are quite good as well. Now, I don't have the aftershave splash for this one because I have regular Shulton Old Spice, but their splashes are well priced also. And as I always do when I use Stirling, I'll remind you of the interview we did last year, spotlighting Stirling. I'll link that below. Maybe I'll pop it up here in one of the corners as well for you. If you haven't seen that, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. I surely did. And I'm going to tell you, this was a nice shave. The Stirling stainless steel razor, efficient no matter which plate you get. Efficient razor, well built, made in the USA, not bad on the price. I think it's fairly priced given it's a premium offering and the packaging it comes in. I really enjoyed it. All right, no buyer's remorse on this one. Okay, let me rinse. We'll come back and get into the post. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back and off cam. We did a warm water rinse. We followed that with the alum. Just a slight bit of stinging right there on my neck, which I'm getting the angle probably a little off there. But other than that, no stinging whatsoever. Followed that with a cold water rinse, and then we applied our Thayer's Magic, because it's made by Witches. Of course, we toweled off with our Lancaster towel. I'm going to tell you what, the Stirling Spice, if you like Old Spice, really good. I really enjoyed it. Great quality soap, not finicky. I absolutely love it. We used our Lancaster RazorWorks brush today. I really enjoyed that. Our Captain's Choice bowl. The Stirling razor with the standard plate is going to, for me, it feels similar to a lot of razors with that 95 blade gap. So pretty good blade gap. This one is still efficient with the standard plate, not mild. And the hyper aggressive plate is at the top of the heap in terms of safety razors that I've used in efficiency and aggression. So keep that in mind. This one, even with the standard plate, quite efficient. I really enjoyed it, had a great shave with it today. And we're gonna close it out today with a little Shulton Old Spice. David from Augusta sent me this a while back, along with another one. I'm still using the initial sample, so I'm just gonna spray a little bit here in the hands, and we'll slap the Old Spice on, and we'll wish you all a great day and some great shaves. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Until next time, I've been your host, CDB, reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way, and as always, God bless.